Hello, everyone. Welcome to Clarity 1593 Supportability Training. In this section, we'll review several enhancements related to accessibility. From an accessibility roadmap perspective, we're right here with the release of 1593. Actually, it occurred yesterday, as you guys know. And we're now just beginning the Q4 development cycle, which will result in Clarity 16.0 in November of this year. As you can see, we have one more quarter in front of us with follow-on plans to obtain the proper compliance certification at the end of the year. This release includes several accessibility improvements encompassing visual design, responsive design, keyboard navigation, and screen reader support. Specifically, the login page has been updated to support keyboard navigation and screen readers. A skip link is now available, helping users navigate quickly to page content. The action bar has enhanced tab support. The timesheets grid itself has been updated to support keyboard navigation and screen readers. The section element of the properties page, the expand collapse area, has been updated as well. And navigation access across configured modules within an investment is now in place. For example, within a project, the keyboard and/or screen reader user can navigate to properties, tasks, staff, financials, and so on. In addition, from an overall visual design perspective, there's some additional user experience improvements, just kind of overall user experience improvements that have been incorporated in the form of updated icons, styling toast messages, checkbox, and radio buttons. All right, so why is this important? Well, each of the accessibility improvements are needed to drive adoption, and in particular, organizations really demand software vendors to comply with accessibility standards to ensure all users have access to Clarity to perform their day-to-day activities. And as I mentioned, each accessibility improvement considers these four pillars across visual design, looking at color, contrast, and visible focus. It's very important. Responsive design, looking at pop-up windows and browser zoom. Keyboard navigation, of course, is critical with input fields, tab order, and visible focus. And then screen readers leverage that visible focus so it understands the page semantic and page structures. So what's changed? Color and contrast elements for the login page were already in place. So you're looking at these two screens and going, they don't really look any different. So you're right, there is no visual difference between 1593 and 1592. The key thing to point out here is that this page has been updated to meet the needs of keyboard users and screen readers users. A skip navigation link is now available, which provides a way for users of assistive technology to skip what often can be many navigation links. For example, think about having to tab through the entire Amazon site, which has links nested within links, before you even reach the search bar or any relevant content. So that's the exact problem a skip link solves for keyboard and screen reader users. So that skip link provides that structure that allows users to get immediately to the pertinent content. So in the context of Clarity, that skip link navigates the user directly to the grid. That behavior is expected on any common view page, and that skip link will direct focus directly to the add button or the next focusable element, such as the first cell in the grid, if that page is not editable. So essentially, within a couple clicks, the user is right on the grid. From an overall visual design perspective, a few user experience improvements have been incorporated. You can see on the upper portion of the screen, the status icons have been improved from a color and contrast perspective. These icons have been incorporated in the toast messages and/or banners which are of course screen color contrast and keyboard and screen reader accessible. The checkbox and radio buttons have been also updated from a color contrast perspective. And then lastly, on the right side is a snapshot of several other miscellaneous icons that have been updated. So we're going to cut right to the demo here and take a look at basically the login flow. I'm going to use both the keyboard and screen reader, so bear with me as we transition. And on the project list page, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this flow from the login page. While on the keyboard, I'll tell you which keys I'm using to perform each function. So since the cursor is in the username field, I'll type in my username. I'm going to use the tab key to move focus to the password field, and I'll type in my password. I'll use tab. You'll notice that the focus has moved to the login button itself. I can hit tab one more time and focus is moved to forgot password. I would use my return or enter key to follow through and go into this workflow, but I don't need to. I'm going to use my shift tab to come back and put focus on login and hit return. And then this is going to take me back to the project list view. From here, I'm going to hit the tab key, which will bring up in the upper left corner the skip to main content, which allows me to navigate quickly to the grid. If I was to use the return key, I would proceed through all the navigation elements that are above, and their tab stops, which are above the grid. But in this case, I want to go directly to the grid, so I'm going to use the return key, and it takes me to the visible focus is now on the plus button, which is the first element of the grid. We are improving the visible focus of that from a keyboard perspective in the next release. I'll go ahead and hit tab one more time, and you'll see the focus is shifted to the name column header. I can use my right arrow key to navigate the grid and use my left, right, and up, down keys to navigate in the grid itself. So that's the keyboard use of the login and skip link capabilities. But now I'm going to demonstrate the same flow using a screen reader, which is used to assist users with partial or complete blindness. Keep in mind, screen reader support, just like keyboard control, is being improved with each release. We certainly plan to complete the needed holistic navigation support for screen reader tools by the end of the Q4 release as well. I'm going to use my voiceover utility supplied with my Mac, and I'm going to start from the login page. So I will log out, and I'm going to turn on the screen reader, or turn on voiceover right now. I'm going to let the voiceover tool do the talking, and I'll follow the exact same flow using the tab and enter and arrow keys, and then I'll come back at the end of that.
Accessibility options. Welcome to macOS Pro. ADN. Pass. Login button. Link. Forgot password. Login button. Bulk edit. 1 to 23 of 23. 1. Skip to main content button. Add row button. Item actions details. Add row star name. Sorta. Financial status. Active. Starred. Description. Toggle selection unchecked. Expansion of payments processing. Toggle selection unchecked. AARD payments modular components application. Toggle selection on application. Accessibility options. Win Chrome. Clarity. Google Chrome. Win application.
All right, that concludes the demo of the keyboard accessibility updates delivered in this release in support of keyboard navigation and screen readers.